Hi guys, it's week 4, our final week of Back to Barre 2.0, and today we are taking it all down to the floor. So this is a nice kind of chilled out one, though you will still get a very real burn. So we're working the lower body here, inner thighs, outer thighs, glutes, all the fun stuff, hamstrings as well, and all you will need is your mat. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I think this will be a nice and fairly chilled out routine, though of course we are going to get a lot of that lower body, but we're on the mat. We always have to plank at some point, so we are actually going to start from a plank position on the forearms. So come onto the elbows here. You can always modify from the knees. I am going to go from the toes though, so that's a nice straight line, crown of the head, back through those heels, and you're just going to give me a little tiny tuck here. So just pulling navel in, little tuck for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in that plank. I want you to lift the right leg, little lift, release. Left leg, lift, release. Keep pushing through that heel. Don't let the butt go up with the leg. So you're squeezing the butt, squeezing lower abs really tight as well. 4 more here. So we're just doing 10 of each of these things. We're not going to be planking for too terribly long. Here's 2, and 1. Press back to dolphin. Nice flat back, butt pushes back, create a little hollow in the navel, forward into plank. So again, it's 10, exhale back, inhale forward, exhale back, inhale forward. Abs still tight. So abs are always going to be helping out. They're nice like that. Make sure you're not going past a plank there as you lower back down. So keep back flat, don't hollow it. Here's 3. And 2. Last one, still staying in plank here. Lift up the right leg, point the toes, and you're gonna pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch legs, left leg lifts, toes point for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes down, and then final thing here, just hover forward and back. So to the tips of the toes and back. Again, we're doing 10. Stay lift up out of the shoulders. So really maximize the abs here. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down. Take a child's pose. So that's all we're going to do in terms of a warm-up, and then we're just going to kind of get into it because these are sort of dynamic, stretchy kind of movements. A little bit of stretch, a little bit of strength. It's bar but on the floor. That's it. So go ahead and come down onto one side here. The best part is when you get to just like lie down in your workout. So coming down to one side, you can either prop the head in the hand or go all the way long. Legs are going to be toward that front corner of your mat. So there's a tiny bit of a fold from the hips, basically, so it's not totally straight like there. It's just that little tiny bit. Hips stay stacked so don't drop forward or back like that. Top leg, we're going to draw in, so go with me here. Knee comes in over the body, but still we're not rolling back. So hips stay stacked, you're pressing firmly into that bottom leg. Extend, flex the foot, lower down. That's the move. We're doing 20 of these now. So in, reach, lower. Let's see if I'm capable of counting to 20 and not losing it. I'm gonna try my very best. So you might also want to count your 20 just to be safe there. If you don't trust my count. But I'm gonna do my very best. Abs are tight here as well. So like I said, only going as big within that motion as you can while keeping that top hip stacked over the bottom hip. there's our halfway point. And as usual, I picked right before lunch to film, so my stomach is already growling. Whoops, that's where we are. It's just the easiest time to film in terms of lighting. That's why I do it. And because I work in the morning, so this is like when I have available. Few more here. And here's 3. And 2. So really controlled motions. Last 1. And then you're gonna draw that knee back in again. So draw it in, again, check that hip, make sure you're not roll it back like that. You're staying on the side, and we're just gonna go for the extension here. So from here, we exhale, extend, inhale, bend, 20 again. So staying on that bottom hip, extend and bend. So leg is probably gonna come a little bit in front of you. Unless you have a super, super crazy intense turnout, for the majority of us, it's not gonna come up overhead. Because for it to come overhead, then you're gonna have to go into the hips. And we wanna just use outer thighs and glutes to get that turnout rather than the hips. So it's probably gonna come a little bit forward. That is okay. Better to do that than to open at the hips. That's my halfway point. So we should be roughly halfway. Abs still really tight. I didn't say it was gonna be easy. All I said is that we were gonna be lying down. That's it. I didn't even say we were gonna be lying down. I said we were gonna be on the mat. Doesn't necessarily mean we were lying down, as you saw with the planks. Here's 2. And 1. Release it down. Now we're just gonna do a straight leg lift. So same thing, following that same path, we exhale up, inhale down, 20 times. Here it is. So lift, slow release down. So don't let it just be like a kick and drop. If you're just kicking it using momentum and then the leg is just falling down, it's not actually gonna work the muscles at all. So make sure you're keeping it controlled, resist that release back down. So like you're moving through some sort of thick substance. Let's go for maple syrup because that seems seasonally appropriate, kind of. I mean, maple syrup is year round, but whatever. I feel like maple is a good autumnal flavor. So if you are on the right part, you should probably feel that bottom hip bone kind of grinding into the floor. I know that's not the most pleasant sensation, so you could always add a little bit of padding underneath it. So like roll up your mat there, give it a little padding. But that is the angle that we were playing at here. And we got 4, 3, 2, keep this last one lifted, and baby bend extend to the E for 20. So still that same angle, see if you can get it up a little higher. So really stretch it, but keeping that bottom leg down on the floor, hips stacked. This is the control, full extension, a little micro bend though. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. So we're not going directly to the other side, you're actually gonna come onto your back, but we do get to lie down in a new position, right? So same leg that was just active, that's gonna be active again. So whichever leg was on the bottom, that's gonna stay on the floor, extending long. You can hug knee in here for a second, extend that leg up, give it just a little pull behind the leg to make sure that we're right at play here. Hips stay down, lower back stays down, whole back is flat, toes are pointed. You're gonna draw a little tiny circle on the ceiling. Just go in one direction here. We'll go 20 times in one direction. So keeping knee and ankle straight, keep it nice and high. Abs are engaged as well. And then just super controlled. So like I said, hips are not swinging around here. We're nice and controlled. Shoulders are relaxed as well. So again, you can count your own 20 in case you are going at a slightly different pace than I am. We want to go pretty like medium speed. I mean, you could slow it down if anything. I would not say to go any faster, because this is one of those things when we're working strength, we don't want to go too fast. Here's 3, 2, and 1, and then of course the magic circles, reverse it. So same thing 20 times. Keep squeezing navel down. And keep that opposite leg pressed firmly into the floor. Little bit more here. Keep extending that knee as straight as you can. I know it's gonna get tired. I mean, that's kind of the idea. We're getting tired here. We're exhausting the muscles. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give that knee a quick hug in again here. We're gonna do same leg straight back up, and we're gonna do a bigger circle, but we're only gonna do 10 in each direction. You're going to go as big with that circle as you can while keeping hips down. So same rules before. You don't wanna like open all the way over here and then suddenly we're lifting up. Same thing for this side. So we're not ever lifting any part of the lower back. So only go as big with that as you can while staying planted there. Right leg, or actually it's my right leg, whichever leg is active, bring that up. Here we go, so drawing it to the outside. Circle, circle, circle. Exhale on the lift. You could also do this with hands underneath the tailbone. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands right now. Like I can't decide where I want them to go. So this is working the abs as well, but that's just a bonus. And if the hip is popping, so my hip does a little bit of popping there, if it's not painful, that should be just fine. We are obviously working range of motion, so it might just be that it's waking up to a new range of motion. But yeah, as long as it's not painful, that should be just fine. If it is painful, make that circle smaller. And last one here, and then again, we'll just reverse it. So all the way back up to the top and reverse. I personally always find the inward circle a little bit harder. Actually, no, saying that, this single time it feels a little bit easier. That's really weird. Normally the outward one is easier for me. I don't know. But yeah, you can notice which one feels a little bit more natural to you. Typically it is outward for most people as well. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm almost always outward. This is the first time that inward feels slightly more natural. My hips are doing weird things. Maybe it's just because we've done so much outward that just come inward feels nice. One more here. And release all the way to the floor. There we go. There's one side down. I mean, there's more after this, but for this series. So go ahead, flip over to the other side. Nice and easy, not too crazy here. So lowering down again. So as your torso is in like the center of the mat, legs are gonna go toward that front corner. So again, you have the tiniest little fold at the line of hips, but hardly anything. So first we do the combo actually. So it's gonna be a knee in, extend, slowly lower down. Make sure that top hip doesn't go back like that. Abs tight, here we go. So 20 of these. So in, extend, flex the foot, slow release. So again, the hips could be a little like crunchy or poppy on this one because we are going through quite a full range. Mine are a little bit crunchy. My hips have been saying that it's going to rain this week, but it's actually not supposed to, so I don't know. Though I think my hips actually are somewhat more reliable than the iPhone app when it comes to predicting the weather. Uh-oh, I got kittens being a little bit of a terror in the background here. Layla, come here. Let's see if I can summon her. No, I can't. Layla! You probably saw her. She probably did walk through there while I was lying down and didn't notice. That's the kitten. That's what a kitten looks like. She is actually not even 9 months. I've been saying 9 months, but she's not even. She'll be 9 months, October 10th. So yeah, she's about 8.5 months. And she is enormous. And still growing. Keep going. Unless you've already done your 20, but unless you're going super, super fast, I don't think you should have finished your 20. So if you have finished, check your speed. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And last one here, in my count. And then we're just gonna do the full bend and extend. So knee draws in, we exhale, extend, inhale, bend. So coming slightly in front of you, unless you have like a full 180-degree turnout, which is not very much of the population. Not to say that you don't, but most of us, that's not the case. Keep pressing that bottom side into the floor. Oh man, these do get tiring, hey? Still think it's nice to be lying down though. So compared to all the standing bar, it does make kind of a nice little break. You still get a lot of good toning, a lot of good control. It's a good way to really tap into the abs as well if you find that challenging to do while standing. I mean, they should also be working while standing, but I feel like sometimes that's just a little bit harder. Here you can really feel into it. Last one, and then release it down. Just a straight lift. So same path wherever you just extended to. It's basically where your leg's gonna be going straight now. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. We can just keep toes pointed. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Layla, come here. Come here. I'm really surprised she's not coming. Oh, no cat updates, I guess. I mean, I can't force them to appear. I really wanted to dress them up for Halloween, but it's kind of like, how much money are you willing to spend on outfits for your cats? And the answer to that is not very much, because it's like once a year for a photo that I'm gonna put them in outfits. So we're gonna prioritize Christmas to get them their matching Christmas sweaters for our cards. So they're not getting Halloween costumes, but I had such a great vision of making all of them sharks. So like with little shark fins sticking out, because when it's feeding time, right, like they are sharks. They're just little sharks. They circle us like sharks. Last one, keep it up here, micro bend, extend. So I was like, how cute would it be for them to be dressed as sharks? So cute. And then on Instagram, I saw a cat in a shark costume in water. It was like a floating shark costume. It was so great. So good. But no, we're not doing it. We're not. That's excessive. I don't know. Do you guys dress up your animals? Dogs, it's not that weird, I guess. Cats. Oh, hello! Hi! Come here. Come here, my friend. This is the kitten. This is the baby. And last one. And go ahead and release. Okay, bye, big giant baby. Roll onto your back. So same deal here. The leg that was just active, that's gonna be active again. Other leg is just on the floor. So hug me in, extend straight, grab behind the thigh. Wherever you wanna have the hands. That leg is straight though, little tiny circles to outside. We'll do 20 of those. So just looking up toward the ceiling, staying open across the chest, and doing these slowly. So you're feeling the full range of that circle. You're feeling how your abs have to stabilize so you're not rocking around. So it's a lot of like abs actually in this one. Like I said, that's just a nice bonus for these few more here. And reverse. So remembering to breathe, obviously. Few more, and then we'll go for those big circles in 2 and 1. So to the outside first, hips stay down. Bear in mind that that circle might not be the same on both sides. So if you do have a little bit more of a range in one side, that's okay. Don't force it to like be the same if it's compromising the exercise. Just do your best with it within the range that it can do. I think these big ones actually feel kind of good. And like I said, you could do hands underneath the tailbone here just for a little extra support if you do feel like you're lifting up a little bit. Last one there. And then reverse it, take it over. So to the inside. Does the inside feel better on this side? No. Just on the other side. This side, no. In fact, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but you can hear the big grinding pop my hip does in this direction when I move it through there. That's kind of old news. Oh, no. Oh, it stopped. Good. Okay, that's better. And one more here. And release. There we go. Hug both knees in. Here, we're going to stay lying down on the back. Get a little bit more of the glutes involved. So we're going to do kind of a butterfly bridge lift. So you're going to bring soles of feet together here. Sides of the feet are on the mat. Knees are open. Hands by the sides. We're going to lift here. So you're going to exhale, lift. Inhale, release. Often I do these with toes lifted up off the mat. I'm being nice today and giving a little bit of break with toes down. It does make it a little bit easier. So exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Knees just open wide, squeezing the glutes on either side. We're getting a bit of the inner thighs here as well. Upper body is just relaxed and flat, but really focused on squeezing the glutes rather than using the lower back to lift. And again, I am attempting to count to 20. Doing my best. If we end up doing a couple extra, there's no harm in it. Just keep that in mind. If you're like, oh, it wasn't exactly 20. Guess what? Nothing bad is gonna happen. It's gonna be okay. Three more here. And last one. Keep it up. You're just gonna flutter knees out. So just little pushes here. We'll go for 20. Keep butt high. There's 2, 1, and then pulse it here for 20. Abs tight. Try to stay centered. I know the balance is a little bit, like the stability is kind of wiggity whack. You might feel yourself like kind of going either side. But just keep it as centered as you possibly can. And here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay lifted. I want you to bring the knees all the way down, so you'll roll onto the bottoms of the feet here. Feet are still in tight. And then open back up again. Butt stays lifted. So we squeeze together and open. Keep going here. Nice and tight. You can guess how many we're doing by now, I hope. I hope you can guess by now. It's not much of a pattern. It's just repetition. So stay as high as you can there. I feel like my feet are sliding a little bit. So if you need to adjust, if you guys are doing this like as I've posted it or shortly after, happy Mercury retrograde. I don't know if happy is the right word to use, but welcome to another Mercury retrograde season until October 18th. This one is a doozy already. We are 1 day deep as I'm filming this, and wow, is it retrograde or is it retrograde? 2 more here. For those of you who are unfamiliar, you're like, what is Mercury retrograde? What can that mean? So, I mean, it just describes the movement of planets when we're crossing paths with Mercury. So it looks like Mercury is going backwards, even though it's not, but that's how we call it retrograde. We're gonna combine it here. So you're gonna lift, bring knees in, drop open again, 20 of these. So inhale, on the exhale, you lift, squeeze in, all the way to the floor. But basically, because Mercury is the planet of communication, that is what it represents. Communication is just wiggity whack while Mercury is retrograde. So lots of things are affected by Mercury retrograde. Tech is hugely affected, so not a good time to make any tech purchases you might be thinking of making. Wait until after October 18th if possible. So yeah, I noticed a lot with tech. One thing that's really interesting, and now that I've said this, everybody like I've talked to here has started to notice it. When Mercury is retrograde, at metro stations in Madrid, all of the escalators are broken. Like I've noticed this before, I'm just like, and we're doing a bunch of stairs while Mercury is retrograde, because the escalators are always broken during Mercury retrograde. So that started off yesterday. Wasn't too much of a surprise, but yeah, it's a lot of tech issues, communication issues, so lots of like miscommunications. You need to be careful with like your speech and your wording and thinking before you speak, things like that. A few more here. You need to be careful signing contracts. So make sure if you are signing any contracts during Mercury retrograde, you are reading them very thoroughly. Last one there, and release, hug knees in, we'll rock up to seated and flip over. So, lots of little things. Travel, not good during Mercury retrograde, and I've already started hearing like travel-related horror stories 1 day deep. So yeah, it seems to be quite the retrograde this time around. We're going to come down onto the forearms here. So this time it's not a plank, so my knees are under the hips, back is gonna be slanted here, but even still within that, make sure shoulders are not here, we're not sinking down. You're staying lifted out of it. Extend right leg long, toes are pointed, nice leg straight, nice straight leg. Pull navel in and up so you're not here, pull in and up, so abs are engaged. Inhale, on the exhale, we're gonna do a full lift there. 20 again is our number, so exhale, lift. Inhale, controlled release. So don't just kick it up and let it fall. Make that really controlled. So yeah, welcome to the wonderful world of Mercury retrograde. So now you'll start noticing, you might have people like from your past just suddenly trying to contact you. Yeah, that's the magical time we're in. Allegedly, what I have heard, I mean, this is not like consistent across all of the many sources I consult for my astrology related information, but I have heard people say that if your Mercury, so like in your chart, the position of Mercury at the time of your birth, if it was in a water sign, you are allegedly less affected by the weirdness of Mercury retrograde. But I don't know. I don't know. Keep it up here and you're gonna pulse it. But you gotta know your chart to know. Abs tight, so make sure torso isn't getting involved here. We don't want to feel the back. We just want to feel that glute and hamstring. Stay lifted out of the shoulders still. Neck is long, so don't try to look back under you like that. No, no. Keep gaze at the fingertips. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Same leg, we're just gonna do those same two things except with a bend in the knee. So that was gonna be a little bit more hamstring, so back in the thigh. This will be a little bit more solidly the glute. So bending the knee here like you're holding, what's some sort of seasonal fruit? I don't know, I'm really drawing a blank here. Hold a fruit behind your knee. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. I mean apple, but it's too big. That's just too big. I don't know. So find that big squeeze at the top. So don't think like, oh, I've got up to hip level, that's enough. Push through that first point of resistance. So really like bring it up to that point where you feel a good shake in it, but abs are still engaged, and then slowly release it with control. So that should be about the halfway point. You will feel the supporting glute as well, particularly if it is your non-dominant. So for most of us, if you are lifting the right leg, as I said, I mean, there could be some rebels out there, but if you're lifting the right here with me, for most of us, this is actually going to be the non-dominant side because it's the non-dominant that is supporting. A few more here. And actually what I've noticed, keep this next one lifted and we'll pulse it. What I've noticed is that most of the people I know who are left-handed are actually still right dominant on bottom. I'm not entirely sure why that would be. So if that describes you, or I mean, yeah, let me know if that describes you. But yeah, most of the people I know who are left-handed are right dominant on bottom. So I know actually very few people who are left dominant on bottom. Some are, but strangely I know very few. And here's 4, 3, these are really high and tight, 2, 1, release. Woo, there we go. Give it a little shake out. In fact, let's take a quick child's pose there. Why not? You gotta treat yourself during Mercury retrograde because we got a long 3 weeks ahead of us if you're like here with me at this stage of it. If you're like post-retrograde or in a period of not being retrograde, like as you're doing this, appreciate the good times. the slight lack of chaos, and just know that, yeah, it'll always come back around. I think it's like 3-ish times a year we go through it. Yeah, so other side here, back to the forearms again, really tuck navel in and up. Left knee, we bend. No, false, we straighten. We start with a straight. I'm ready to get to that part. Toes pointed, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. I find the bent ones actually a little bit easier. I don't know. But yeah, that is, I mean, my glutes are stronger than my hamstrings. So it does kind of depend on that. So yeah, I find these straight ones just a little bit harder because it does rely a little bit more on the hamstrings. Same thing with like bridge lifts, like a classic bridge lift versus a more extended one. I find the extended ones quite a bit harder. I just heard a meow. I don't know where that meow came from or what it's about. Assume it came from one of mine. Don't know why. Don't know if you guys heard it. Maybe somebody will be making an appearance soon. So still just keeping these really controlled. Ideally, you should feel a little bit of a shake on the release. That's how you know that you're really resisting that release. So if it's just smoothly going down and going down fast, that's just letting it fall, which means we're cheating half of that movement because you're getting a lot of the development in the release stage of it. So don't cheat that. Keep next one lifted and you're gonna pulse it right here. So keep navel in tight, keep that length of the leg, make sure you're not moving from the knee or the ankle. Only movement is from the line of the hip, and that is tiny, tiny. Squeeze your supporting glute as well. We're almost done with this workout. And here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. This is our last thing here. Just finishing out this side. We'll give it a quick little stretch, and that's going to be this one done. So we're basically there. So now knees bent. Inhale, pull navel in. Exhale, lift and down. Now I don't think I specified here with this one whether toes should be flexed or pointed. And that's because if I don't specify, it's because you are free to choose. Choose your own adventure. For this one, I don't necessarily care so much right now. I'm going with pointed just because I find it easier to hold my foot at that angle. I find that a little bit more comfortable. But you could do a flexed push through the heel as well, but choose either heel or toe. So don't just do kind of like a flaccid foot and push through the ball of the foot. Make sure you are like energized all the way through the foot. So control it there. Check in with the shoulders. Make sure you're still lifting up out of them. Keep going here. I feel like this is a nice routine for, I guess I wouldn't say a lazy day, but a lazier day, I don't know, a slightly lower energy day. Because you do still get all that nice toning, but yeah. Few more here. And though you might have to take a few more breaks in it, this would, I believe, actually be appropriate for a prenatal routine. Keep it up and pulse, but yeah, you probably have to take a few more breaks just because holding in any one position, depending on how far along you are, could be a lot. Particularly lying down. So that's the only one I would say. Side lying is fine, bridges are fine. Though again, you probably would have to take a break at some point because it is a lot, well, it could potentially be a lot of weight pushing down, again, depending how far along you are. But yeah, if you can just take some breaks, this would be prenatal appropriate. A few more here. Oh my God, this final push is getting me. And last one. Oh, there we go, release. Let's do knees wide, toes together, press back into a nice wide leg child's pose there. So just butt back toward the heels. I do always like to do palms up on these. That's just personal preference. I just like the stretch it gives me across the chest and fronts of the shoulders, but it's up to you. Ah, there we go, hallelujah. And then go ahead, walk hands back in here. Let's take a pigeon on either side. So, starting with the left leg, let's bring left knee forward toward that left thumb. Left heel here can be kind of toward the right hip bone. That's gonna be slightly milder, or if you are really open in the hips, you could walk that foot forward. But here's what I want you to do. So sometimes I'll see people say like, I'm really open in the hips, let me walk my foot forward, but then they're like flopping over to the side like that. That's not what we want. So go where you can. I would say stay a little bit lifted off the floor. Bring the hands to hips. So you're gonna square up the hips. So you don't want to be turned this way. You don't want one hip to be higher than the other. So find the hips, bring them even. So top to bottom, side to side, they're gonna be even. Probably once you are even, you're gonna notice that actually you're lifted a little bit more than you normally would. So once you're there, come down with a flat back. So keeping straight, equal through both sides of the torso, then press down. You're gonna feel that stretch so much more where we wanna feel it than you would if you were cheating it and just pressing all the way down, but kind of split open to the side, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. It's just about feeling it, really. So I mean, I can explain it. I can sit here and chitter chatter till the cows come home, but you really gotta be able to feel that difference. And then go ahead, press back up. Keep on that side, bend the right knee. You're gonna reach right arm around, find the top of the foot and pull in. So nice little quad stretch there. And go ahead, release. We'll switch sides. So step that left foot back, right knee comes forward, Same thing, so back leg is extended long, bring the hands to hips. So see how normally if I just like go into it, I'm here, right? Where I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm so far down into it, but it's not really the correct position. So square it up here first. Bring the hips equal. If it lifts up a little bit, that's okay, and then keep both sides of the back flat as you lower down there. So keeping that length in the torso, you're gonna feel it so much more, I promise. Because I'll tell you what, I was doing pigeons for a long time. I was like, this stretch is nothing. And then I actually started squaring up my hips. So I was like, just kidding. There it is. That's the stuff. That's what we want. It can be quite a doozy, especially with these bar workouts where it is a lot of like hip. I mean, I know I said keep the hips controlled, but it is hips that, you know, you're going through a rotation there. So keep it up here, reach around, grab the top of the left foot, pull in. So yeah, it is a very nice stretch for tired hips. Good one to do before bed as well. Especially if you've been like sitting at a desk, working all day, sitting in a chair. It can help prevent lower back pain. Just open up those hips a bit. And then go ahead, step back here. Woo! Just rock the hips side to side. Flip around, come onto the butt. Let's take soles of the feet together. Let knees just drop open to the sides here. Sit nice and tall. You can grab onto the feet, press chest forward if you want to use elbow to press either side down. Yeah, we're just pushing into it there. Nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and lift up. And one final stretch here, we're gonna go for a straddle. So just open the legs as wide as you can. I am really, really tight in this direction, but just, you know, go as wide as you can here. Flex the feet so toes are up, and then just press forward from the chest. So again, rounding in the back like that. You're gonna push with the chest. You do hands behind as well. Oh, that's good, that's helpful. Another good one for stretching this particular stretch, you can lie down, so back on the floor, facing in toward a wall, legs up the wall, and then just let your legs drop open. It's actually for increasing flexibility in that direction, and then you would sit like that for a few minutes, but let me tell you, it is a hard one to get out of. You're just like, the legs just won't even come back together in the end. And go ahead and release, but it is a good option. There you go. So a few different options for stretches. If you wanted to stretch a little bit more, of course, you could always do a little bit more stretching here. Stay active though today. Make sure you're doing lots of walking. That's every day. So that is like the most underrated workout, I think. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I always get lots of requests for these more mat bar series, so let me know down below in the comments if you did like it. And then of course, while you're there, hit that like button and also be sure to subscribe to see more workouts. I'll see you guys back here in the next one. Bye.